Our Snowdonia trip was booked primarily to experience the longest, fastest zip wire in the world, at Zip World, situated in a Penryn quarry in the heart of Snowdonia. The idea was to break the journey up and stay overnight in Oswestry, for no other reason than it was pretty close to Snowdonia itself. However, as we set off, the weather looked decidedly ominous. So we decided to take the fastest route, which is basically just hitting the motorways up the M1, M6 and M54. The situation with the weather was compounded by the fact that there were 3 lanes of virtually stationary traffic for a lot of the time, making filtering the only option for most of the time on the motorway. And filtering, as you all know, is probably one of the most demanding forms of riding. You've got to keep your wits about you all the time. You've got to look for closing gaps, people crossing lanes, even stationary traffic with people opening the doors to get out. And to make it worse, the wet weather got even wetter. The Winstay Hotel, located right in the centre of Oswestry, is a Georgian building, supposed to be a 4-star hotel, but frankly, I wasn't that impressed. In fact, the best thing about the whole stay in the hotel was it coincided with the appearance of David Trainer, who was a spirit medium on a world tour. So we got a couple of tickets and went along, and it was highly interesting and entertaining in equal measure. This is the back of the hotel. It's a hotel and spa actually. This is the spa area, spa and gym. Didn't have time to use the facilities. And this is part of the local bowling green, which I'm sure is lovely in the middle of summer. Oh dear, it is in the middle of summer, isn't it? And it's already starting to rain. Welcome to Oswestry. We're in our MMD Ride Snowdonia trip. We're going to be on the road for 4 days. Taking in the Zip World in the Penryn Quarry, providing it stops raining. Yesterday it hammered it down. We rode for 3.5 hours in solid rain, thunderstorms, pretty horrible, in fact really grim conditions. So we didn't video yesterday when we got here because the conditions were so terrible, and frankly we were too tired, so we just checked into the hotel and grabbed a bite to eat and had a drink. Anyway, today we're gonna bimble across to Snowdonia, so I think we'll probably ride to Harlech, have a look at the castle, have a look at the sea, have a break, and then head up to our hotel for the night, which is in a place called Llangollen. And it's starting to rain a little bit now, but hopefully it'll hold off for most of the day. So let's check out our hotel from last night, the Winstay Hotel. So this is our hotel room. Winstay Hotel. 4-star hotel with 2-star bedrooms, looks like. Very, very tiny, very small, very hot. Not very impressed by the room. Tiny fan, it was boiling hot last night, didn't get an awful lot of sleep. Yes, pretty poor for a 4-star hotel. No bath to soak in. Yeah, not very good, not recommended. Oswestry was named after King Oswald of Northumbria, who died in AD 641. He was nailed to a tree, hence the name Oswald's Tree, which became Oswestry. It's also been home to many poets and musicians. The greatest of Great War poets, Wilfred Owen, was born here in 1893. And of course, the very famous Reverend Spooner, of Spoonerism fame. His famous dinner toast to Queen Victoria, "Our dear old Queen," came out as "Our queer old Dean." So there you have it. Our plan when we got to Harlech was to pull into the car park, take a picture of the castle, maybe find a place to have a coffee, but I realised that the castle was situated on a very steep, in fact 1 in 25 hill. So as we passed it, I noticed that the car park was full. So we decided we'd just carry on riding and see if we could find a safe, flat place to park. Unfortunately, the further down we went, the steeper, windier and busier it got. There were cars and vans going down, cars and vans coming up, around tight hairpin bends, pedestrians in the road. The GoPro doesn't actually do it justice. It was much steeper than it actually looks, and a very tricky, difficult road to navigate. However, everything was going fine until, well, I'll hand over to Sue to explain.
So if you've watched some of our other videos, you'll know we're pretty used to tight turns on sloping roads. As you can see from the film, we're keeping pretty tight to the left-hand side to avoid any oncoming traffic.
And while Sue was stuck waiting for oncoming traffic to clear, I made my way down and round the bend, so I didn't really see what happened after that.
As I approached that tight left-hand bend, you can see two kids appeared, and my natural reaction was to swerve rather than flatten them. As Brian mentioned, the gradient and angle of the road was pretty significant. And whilst I'm really glad I didn't squish the kids, the swerve and resulting stop put poor old Toby past his tipping point, and as you can see the result. Or I think Brian has effectively edited out the expletives.
So after the little drama, Sue composed herself, got back in the saddle, and we headed down to flatter ground so we could regroup and make our way to Llanrug to our hotel for the night.
Afternoon folks, and we've just arrived at Seiont Manor Hotel, and it's still been a grey day. In fact, rained a little bit, not as bad as yesterday, but we rode from Oswestry through to Harlech, had a brief stop in Harlech, and now we're in Seiont Manor, which is proving to look like a beautiful hotel, much nicer than I've got to say the Winstay Hotel last night in Oswestry. Supposed to be a 4-star hotel. Disappointed, I'm afraid, but the hotel we're in at the moment looks pretty impressive actually. So let's go and look at the room and check it out. How handy is this?
Oh, would you like to make quite often?
Ground floor, room number 3. And this is more like it. Oh, it's better room, isn't it?
It's fantastic, yeah. It's spacious,
Yeah.
bright, lovely.
And a lovely view outside. Walk-in wet room. Much better than last night. So now all we need to do is check out the bar and the food. What do you think?
B-U-C-K. Oh, the bar.
So this is the bar of the Seiont Manor Hotel, and we're just having a pre-dinner drink, and it's got amazing libraries full of fascinating information. Who would have thought that you have volumes of the Frisian Herd book, volume 55. What's it got in here? Let's have a look. Fascinating stuff. Look. Thousands of pages identifying different breeds of cow. About 1,000 pages in there. So much to learn, so little time. The bad weather's abated, and it's going to be a dry day today, which is fortunate because today we're off to do the zip wire. Apparently the fastest zip wire in the world. So stay tuned and see how we get on. Zip World Quarry. Got our stuff off the bikes, and I think we're heading up there into the hills. But at least it's dry. And we're very excited.
That's one word for it.
Moment of truth, soon getting away from the zip line.
Never got on scale for my phone.
Now regretting that sticky toffee pudding last night.
Very.
Have you do this?
This is the person that hates roller coasters.
It's totally different to these
Is it
days.
great?
Don't- Three, two, one.
Oh, it was amazing.
Good fun.
It was great. It was, the worst bit was actually hanging, waiting to go, because that was a few seconds. But once you're on the route, it was fantastic.
So you're glad you did it?
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. What about you?
Yes. Yeah, it was amazing, except I was steamed up. And I wanted the camera facing outwards, unfortunately it faced inwards. So all you get a picture of me on a stupid grin, screaming.
The zip wire experience was fantastic, great fun. It's about a 2-hour process. If you're thinking of doing it, you have to factor that in, because by the time you've checked in, got weighed, got kitted out, had the health and safety briefing, tried the smaller zip wire just to get used to it, then you pile into a truck, you wend your way up the mountain, and the actual flight itself, about 57 seconds. Apparently you can reach speeds from 85 to 100 miles an hour, depending on how heavy you are. But it's well worth it, and big thumbs up to Zip World. Fantastic day.
Our favourite little private lounge to have a pre-dinner drink in. That's somebody's front room, isn't it? folks, and what a beautiful day. This is considering the weather we've had over the past couple of days, which has been pretty awful. Yesterday was great, we had the fantastic Zit World experience, and today we're walking up to beautiful sunshine as we continue on our Snowdonia trip. Today we're heading down Llanberis Pass to Betws for a cup of tea and lunch, and then on to Ironbridge in Shropshire. So let's hope it stays like this all day. Tune in later.
The Llanberis Pass is in the heart of Snowdonia, and when it's a good day there are few places better to ride than the Snowdonia National Park. It's the oldest national park in Wales and was founded in 1951, and it's also the home to the tallest mountain in Wales and England, which of course is Mount Snowdon, which is a fraction over 3,500 feet tall. plan was to stop in Bettysacoed for a coffee and a bite to eat, but unfortunately peak season in summer couldn't find anywhere to park the bikes. All the car parks were rammed, so we thought we'd just ride through and maybe stop in Llangollen. So we arrived at Llangollen, and guess what? Same situation. Packed with tourists, no parking spaces. We rode around for a while and decided we'd just press on. Just a leg stretch pit stop here in leafy Shropshire on our way to Ironbridge. We've got about 10 miles to go. After a late change of plan, we're in Ironbridge, but we're not at the Meadow Inn Steakhouse. We're actually changed to the Best Western. Sadly, it coincided with a big wedding, so we've ensconced ourselves here. Yeah. Well, let's go in and get a well-deserved pint, because it's been a bit of a fractious day one way or another. You know, a bit of peace and quiet. So, can you tell the viewers why we are not at the Meadow Inn Steakhouse?
So, having spent 5 hours on the bike today, we arrived at a rather shabby looking place under the shadow of great water coolers to find that there was no hot water. No tub, no hot water. Pretty grim looking place.
And it's supposed to be 4-star, wasn't it?
It certainly wasn't.
It was basically a B&B next to a pub. So we decided that we would get out, and it was swelteringly hot. And lo and behold, we end up how far away?
About 100 yards down the road at the Best Western.
So here we are now. This is the morning we're setting off from Ironbridge, leaving the Best Western Valley Hotel as we set up for another wedding, I think, down there. Yesterday was very busy. We got the last room in the hotel. There was a big wedding, there was a vintage car rally, and there was MMD. And they managed to squeeze us in. And it looks like it's going to be another hot day today. So, next stop, Ironbridge itself. Ironbridge is famous for, well, having an iron bridge. The world's first iron bridge was erected over the River Severn at Coalbrookdale in 1779, and it was the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. So we had to stop and take a quick look at it.
Ironbridge in Shropshire.